So photography for me, it started when I was still working up north in the oil sands, and I found myself just like wandering out into the sunrises and taking pictures with my phone. And we talked the company that I was working with up there into buying a camera so we could use it to take inspection pictures of the facility. But I was taking it out and I was shooting. Like, we had lots of bears and all sorts of different wildlife, and I was finding ways to sneak down to the river at night, and so it really, I wasn't focused at all on my job, and I just knew that it was what I wanted to do. So I just wanted to capture every sunrise and every sunset, and for people to see what I was seeing, the beauty of nature that I saw every day, and through my lens, through my eyes. And it just went from there. I left that job, and I took one more shot at the corporate life, and I ended up doing the same thing. By then I'd purchased all my own equipment, and I'd become the company photographer, and we were doing like headshots, and I was supposed to be there doing inspections, and I was doing everything but, like, I mean, I did both, but the majority of my time, and the thing that I really loved about that job was the photography. And all the while I'd be like taking off at lunch hour to find these little nature hidey holes, and I'd come back like soaked up to the waist from like trudging through the grass and taking pictures with my new long lens of deer and owls and all these amazing things. And I'd come back to the office just stoked to show everyone all these pictures, and they're all, you know, not into it. They were living in their corporate world, and so it was really at that point when I saw that that's what I wanted to do. That's the direction I wanted to go. And it was right after that probably like within 6 months that I found out about the stuff that was going on in the eastern slopes with a bunch of proposed coal mines and things like that. And I'd already bought a drone, and I'd actually been flying up there and just practicing with it already. And so I just kept going with that, and it blossomed into what it is today. Like, it continued. I filmed for almost a year, and learned tons along the way about recording video and shooting stills. And in the midst of it all, I got to have so many encounters and see so many places that I never would have saw. I just immersed for weeks and almost months, and I had a face-to-face encounter with a cougar, and spent like a morning with a mother wolf. And these are all wild animals, and they were just the most beautiful, soul-touching experiences. And so it all kind of boiled down to me knowing that I just want to share all that I want people to see that spirit. I want to share what I see in nature and in the land and in the wildlife, and that's the gist of it. Now Meg and I get to do it together. We found each other, and we get to do it as a team, and it's just the most beautiful experience. It's truly the best.
My journey into photography actually started long before I got a real camera. In 2016, I started getting really into hiking, and was just every weekend out at a different spot that would call me hiking mountains by myself. And so while I was out there, I got really into taking pictures and just getting really passionate about sharing inspirational quotes along with my pictures. And then that led to this really big change in my life in 2017. And I actually left my job and sold my condo and went through this just immense change. Pretty much my whole world kind of changed within a year. And then I started traveling the world, just feeling really deeply called to visit different places around the world. And so my photography journey kind of followed me through that journey. This really deep kind of shamanic ancestral healing of really my feminine essence. It's quite a long story, but it all kind of interties with each other. So yeah, I was bringing my iPhone and really trying to capture the essence of the land that I was traveling to, and really just in this deep kind of inner journey into my heart the entire time. And then when I returned home to Canada, I shared this in a previous video, but it's like all these senses had kind of opened up through my travels and through just feeling and connecting to the different lands that I had been to. And so when I came home to Canada, it was like this profound opening where I could just feel the land and the ancestors and the animals on like a level that I just hadn't experienced while living here prior. And so this deep journey began. I mean, it had already started, but there was just all these different levels of it opening. And so I went on this trip to the Sunshine Coast of Canada, and there was this really big initiation there with eagle spirit and with bear spirit and birds leaving their feathers for me. And so everywhere I went, like the eagles would drop their feathers, and I find owl feathers and vulture feathers, and I was just really journeying deeply into the medicine that these animals hold and just their spirit. And so then that led me back home to Calgary after that journey. And again, that winter, it was just such a deep initiation with eagle spirit. Every time I'd go down into the park, they would be around me. They'd fly to wherever I was. It didn't matter where I was walking. And I remember just waking up in the morning so excited just to go down and be with the eagles. And I don't think I ever really understood in my mind what was happening. It was such a like heart and spirit led journey, but it felt so profound. And so I had this big initiation with eagle spirit, and then that kind of led into coyote spirit, and that's when I got into photography. I was out with my dad one morning walking. It was so cold, like one of those absolute polar vortexes, and we went to walk the dogs, and there was a whole pack of coyotes there under this beautiful pastel sunrise. And it was in that moment, that exact moment, that they guided me that I needed to get a camera. And I remember at the time it was like such a kind of out there expense, like it didn't seem like it was doable, but I did it anyways because it was such a just deep calling. And thank God I did. Like it just opened up this whole world and this whole path that I'm walking now. So yeah, that spring I really went deep with coyotes in Calgary in the park where I was living, and they fully invited me into their family units, and I like journeyed with them through their mating season and met many of the different packs that are in the park there. And then I journeyed with a few different, that kind of opened up into deer with their fawns and a deep initiation with owl spirit. And that's what led me to Trav, actually. It was a great gray owl that I met in the park one day. That was so rare. Like great gray owls are never come into the city like that. And I was just walking on the path, and this great gray owl was sitting in the tree literally right in front of me, like 10 feet away. And I remember sharing this like video of how profoundly it had touched me. And that was actually the moment that Trav and I like really deeply connected. And so we've come together, and our journey has now evolved into this beautiful story with the Eastern Slopes that Trav was already walking. And a really deep calling to wild horse spirit, of the wild horses out there, and some beautiful experiences with the wolves and the bears out there. And so now together we both just feel this, I don't even know how to describe it, just this profound calling to tell the story of the Eastern Slopes and the animals out there and the land out there, and to just be there. I think it calls to us every day, and I think we eventually see ourselves being out there permanently at some point. But for now, it's our calling to share our story and share our story of just the magic that lives out there.